continuing to move forward. We've talked about choices and the choices we have and how sometimes the choices we make, whether they're good or whether they're bad, they have consequences. And sometimes the choices we make may not be the best choices. And sometimes when we make those choices, God puts us in a position to suffer the consequence. Yes, God is a loving God, but God is also a jealous God. So many people get all mixed up. Well, why does God let war happen? Listen, Jesus is jealous. He is jealous of me. Remember the song? That song? Right? He is jealous of me. Love's like a hurricane. Blah, 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 blah. He's a jealous God. So when we accept him as our own, and we don't follow his rules, he can get mad. There are literally stories in the Bible where God was like, listen, they turned their back on me. I want you to go down there and just slaughter everybody. I want you to kill every man, woman, child, dog, goat, cat, cow. I don't want an amoeba living.
A what?
Really? An amoeba?
What is that?
Jenna, what is an amoeba?
A single-celled organism.
A single-celled organism. But sometimes we bring ourselves to that place, all right? The story I want to talk to you today is about Jeremiah, about a whole nation that continued to turn their back on God, and God allowed them to become slaves. Right? Now, before that happened, there was a man named Jeremiah who continually said, Don't listen to the false prophets. We are not going to get out of captivity. Because the false prophets were coming after they were, alright, I messed up. After they came in and made everybody slaves, the false prophets were like, yo, Emily, we're going to be fine. Everything's going to be cool. Couple said it, we're good. And it wasn't the case. And Jeremiah kept standing up and saying, what are you guys, stupid? Why aren't you listening to what God is telling you? We are not going to be safe. We're going to be in captivity for the next 25 stinking rotten years. Because you won't listen to God. Stinking rotten, that's right. So, but they did it. All right, let me tell you the scripture reference. I want you to write it down because I want you to read this.
We are going to have a tough life.
It's a hard knock life. Jeremiah chapter 24, verses 1 through 7. God gives Jeremiah a vision. He says, he gives Jeremiah a vision of a fig tree. All right? And the fig tree was basically symbolizing a nation in trouble. As the fig tree died, it was representing the captivity of the nation. All right? In Jeremiah chapter 25, verses 3 through 11. All right? Jeremiah, I said 25 years. Jeremiah preached that same message of the fig tree for 23 years. All right? God allowed them to be put in captivity. Okay? But he kept saying to them, listen to God and not the false prophets. But Jeremiah, his message went unheard. They were led into captivity. They were slaves. And that was all because of the decisions they made. Right? That was all because of the decisions they made. Okay? But you know what the best part about Jeremiah is even through all of that, he did not quit. He did not stop. Sometimes we're going to be put in a place like that boy who stood around the flagpole and got down on one knee by himself to pray. It's a place of captivity. We still have to continue to fight. Even in slavery, we have to continue to fight. Even if we brought it on ourselves, we still have to continue to fight. David had to continue to find glory. David had to continue to fight. Even after he sinned, he had to continue to fight for what he knew was right. sometimes we find ourselves in a position where the choices we made have put us in a bind. And it's the consequences we have to face. But God says, do not stop fighting. Eventually, you're going to get through. Right? So we're going to cut down some of this because I already wasted a lot of time. Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 4 through 14. This is the exciting part. I want you guys to write these scriptures down. Are you writing them down? Write them down. Alright? I want everybody to understand what's going on here. So for 23 years, this man preached a certain message to the children of God. The children of God did not listen, so they were in captivity. The false prophets kept saying to them, everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Everything was not going to be okay. But Jeremiah, who was in the middle of all this, the one true man of God, continued to fight for God's people. We may be Jeremiah today, standing in a nation of slaves. Okay? We are standing in a nation of slaves to the enemy, slaves to depression, drugs, alcohol. We're standing in a nation that is enslaved to money. We're standing in a nation that's enslaved. And we are the Jeremiahs of today. We need to continue to say, listen to what God is saying.
DJ's middle name is Jeremiah.
See, Jeremiah worked out. Jeremiah. Jeremiah was. All right, wrong song. Anyway, so that is where we are. We're in a place right now where we can be Jeremiah. But here's the exciting part. Jeremiah chapter 24, verses 6 through 7. It says this. He will bring them back to their land. He will build them up. He will give them a heart for him. And then he shall return unto God with a whole heart. So no matter where you're at or what you've done, no matter what situation we're in right now as a nation, God is saying he can bring us back. Who is going to be the right hand of God to help bring this nation back? We are. We are going to be Jeremiahs. And God is telling us right now, listen, throughout all of this mess that is the world you live in today, I am coming. Don't let it crush your spirit or your heart, because I will bring you back to me. Who are we going to bring with us? See, once we make the choice to impact the rest of our history, once we make the choice to change the course of history, God is going to bring us back to him. He's going to bring this nation, he's going to bring these people, the world that's lost in this dark, dying, depressed state that it's in. He's going to use us to continue to rally and fight for him, to continue to rally and advocate for those who are weak and afflicted, so that way when the time comes, we can all go to be with him. That's the promise. That's the exciting part, man. We are going to have a part in that. Jeremiah had a part in bringing those people back to salvation. We are the Jeremiahs. We are going to have a part in bringing this world to salvation. We're going to save everyone? No. Would we love to save everyone? Yes. But let's be realistic. Okay? The fact of the matter is there's a lot of people in this world who truly and utterly despise us. The false prophets of that day, if they could have killed Jeremiah, they would have killed him in an instant. But he continued to fight. Are you continuing to fight for what you believe is right? Even no matter where we're at or what we're doing or what situation we're in, are you continuing to fight for what is truth? What is right? If you do that, God says, we will be brought back. Kingdom of heaven is coming. We can't help that. God himself is like, Jesus Christ said, I go to prepare a place for you. He didn't say that for our health. You know, it wasn't like saying, oh, you know what, when you go to the doctor, you're going to feel a little pressure, it's going to be, no. He didn't say that for health. When a doctor says you're going to feel a little pressure, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? There's no little pressure about it. I hate when you go to a doctor and he's like, oh, you're numbed up, you're just going to feel a little pressure. That pressure is just wasted words because it's going to hurt. No matter what you do, it's going to hurt. I hate going to the dentist for the same reason. Oh, you're all numbed up. You're good to go. No, I'm not. When Jesus said, I go to prepare a place for you, it wasn't just some words to make you feel better. Okay? He said, I go to prepare a place for you. It is the truth. He went to prepare a place for us because he knows that we're here on this earth doing Jeremiah's business, constantly telling the world, listen, we've got to listen to God. Listen, we've got something better than this. Listen, we can bring you something greater than the garbage that you're already in. That's what Jeremiah was giving. Jeremiah was saying, listen, don't listen to them. I've got something better. God is saying if we fight for him, he will bring us back. He will bring us out of slavery. He will bring us out of captivity. Who is going to do that? We are. If you've chosen to accept the call that God has put on your life, then you are going to raise them up. You are going to raise them up. But you have to choose the call on that God has put on your life. You have to. We need to continue to fight. Continue to push away the false prophets. Get between them and the world and say, listen, I've got something better. Jeremiah had to get between the false prophets and his nation to say, listen, God has got something greater. If we just listen, if we just feel his heart for just one moment, we can be led out of captivity. That's who we are. That's who you are. True Fire Ministries, that's who you are. You're not just some child in a play. You're not just some child listening to baby stories. You are the right hand of God in this dead, dying, dark world. And that right hand of God is on fire. And it's cutting through sin. And it's allowing God's grace and mercy to impact everyone you touch. It's a Jeremiah experience. We got to continue to fight. And I'm done. The end.
Oh, that's the end?
That's the end.